I'm the dude. So that's what you call me.
Are you a virgin?
Yeah, not since I was 10.
Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret.
Come on to the coast. We get together, have a few laughs.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Can I return it if it doesn't fit?
It always fits. Eventually.
Welcome back to Movie Mingle. I'm Caveman.
And I'm Maggie.
And today we are doing yet another bonus episode for my birthday month.
For your birthday month.
That's right.
What did we watch, honey?
Well, I have been trying to get Maggie to watch The Thing with me.
What thing?
The Thing.
Wait, where?
The.
No.
Not just a.
Huh?
The Thing.
A thing.
The.
The thing.
Absolutely.
Okay.
One of a kind. The Thing.
Fuck, was it one of a kind?
From
Holy
1982.
shit.
1982's John Carpenter's The Thing for a long time.
Yes.
And you said, I'll watch it for your birthday or something.
I did. I think that I somehow compromised not watching it back in October by being like, I'll watch it for your birthday, thinking that would be future Maggie's problem. And now that bitch is here, and it is my problem.
I finally got you to watch it.
Yep.
Out of just
he wore me down,
begging,
guys.
wore her down.
It's much how he got me into a relationship in general. He just kept wearing me down.
I don't think that's how that works.
No, it's not at all, actually.
Pretty sure you came on to me.
I absolutely came on to you first, because if I didn't, we wouldn't be sitting here right now.
Well,
because you would have never shot that shot.
Takes.
I'd shoot it, and here we are.
Here we are. Well.
Yeah. Do you want to just get it out of the way?
I think the listeners.
So I can stop pretending.
I think the listeners are just like, all right, just tell us.
I fucking loved it, and I'm so angry about it. Damn it! I'm so angry. God damn it! Like it literally, and it wasn't even like halfway through. 5 minutes into this movie, I wrote down like 5 minutes in, and I fucking love it. God fucking damn it. God damn it, do I love this goddamn movie. It's so good! Why haven't people been talking about this movie for the last...
Nobody has said a thing
40 years.
For over 40 years.
About The Thing.
Everyone's just like, take it or leave it. It's like...
They're like, it's there.
It exists. Yeah.
So we have no thoughts whatsoever.
Nobody has ever had a thought about this movie.
Maggie comes along
Maggie
and
finally
like,
saw it and just like, guys, this is the movie.
Classic.
More people should be watching this.
I would have never watched this movie if it weren't for you and this dumb little podcast of ours. And now I've watched it and I'm like, fuck, I want to watch that again. Except there were parts that I definitely covered my face for because yikes.
We'll watch them again. Slowly but surely, more and more, you'll watch more and more of it.
My boss told me that this is one of her favorite movies and a comfort movie of hers. She watches this movie multiple times a year for comfort. And before watching it, I was like, the fuck is wrong with you? And now I'm like, the fuck is wrong with you? But I respect it. You know, comfort movies.
Something is still wrong with you.
Comfort movies are different for everybody, including my boss, who I absolutely adore. She's a great boss. But like, you know, I have so many friends that love this movie, and I've always just been like, I don't. Like, who cares? It's just an alien movie. Nah. It's so good. So I'm so angry at you, because how dare you keep this movie from me?
I know.
It's your fault I haven't seen it before this point.
This was the first time I ever mentioned it.
You definitely never tried to get me to watch it before, and I went, no.
Well, next thing on the list is Alien. So.
No! No.
Slowly but surely, guys, I'm going to get her to watch 2001 Space Odyssey.
Oh, you motherfucker.
Slowly but surely.
This is the long con
This is the long con of just being able to get you to watch 2001.
Like, what's his face said one time, I couldn't marry a girl that didn't like
no, essentially
2001 A Space Odyssey.
Keep the girl who watches 2001 with you and doesn't ask any questions during it.
That's such bullshit.
Or doesn't say anything. Not just ask questions, but
doesn't say anything.
Just
sits there quietly.
Yeah, whether or not it's like
watches it.
Exactly. That's the woman he wanted.
Well, I hope he's single now. Because
he probably is.
I will never fucking watch that movie, and I'll take that to this goddamn... I will not watch that fucking movie. You can make that face all you want, sir.
You said the same thing about The Thing.
I did not.
And Seven.
No.
And...
No, there are a few movies that I have sworn to never let grace my eyeballs, and 2001 A Space Odyssey is one. You don't even like that movie.
We've talked about this before. It's a different kind of like...
Like, I know that you respect it for, like, what it was and how it was made. But, like, fuck that movie. I don't want to fucking watch. I've seen that movie in pop culture. I've seen it. I've seen the monkeys. I've seen the obelisk. I've seen Hal. I've seen how it ends with him going into the future and seeing himself as an unborn baby or something. I saw that shit on Community. Like, I don't need to see
True Community.
2001: A Space Odyssey because I've fucking seen it from every other pop culture reference to ever exist on this planet. Anyways, The Thing. Who made The Thing,
I'll
my
get
love?
you to watch it one day.
No, you won't. No, you fucking won't. And if there ever is a 2001 Space Odyssey version of this podcast, expect it to be somebody other than Maggie watching it with Caveman.
Wow, my new wife.
Yeah. Oh!
So,
Oh!
we got some shots lined up
Yeah, to your new
my new wife.
You know, that reminds me of that Saturday Night Live episode or a skit with Tina Fey and Amy Poehler, and they're doing a game show, and it's like, meet your second wife.
Yeah, oh my god, that's so funny.
And they're all like really young.
Yeah,
and their current wives are in the audience. Yeah. And then when they bring out the last one, it's a woman that's like in her 20s. Yeah. And the guy's like, oh, well, I guess she's age appropriate. And like, wait, she's actually pregnant with your future second wife. Oh my god, this
is actually your mother-in-law right here.
That is one of my favorite. If you guys haven't seen the Your Second Wife game show skit on SNL, it's
really funny.
Genius.
Yeah, they did
Kenan Thompson kind of runs away with that skit, even though it is just like it's just full of heavy bangers.
The Thing was written a long, long time ago.
In a galaxy far away.
By John W. Campbell in 1938.
Yeah.
In a little, I'm guessing like in a magazine.
Yeah, like one of those like science fiction, like.
It was originally called Who Goes There?
It's a short story.
And it was published in the Astounding Science Fiction, the 1938 issue of Astounding Science Fiction, which was a magazine. It was also printed as The Thing from Another World, which is where it got its title, The Thing.
That was a movie, correct? They did make a movie of this.
They did. The Thing from Another World was a 1951 black and white science fiction horror film directed by Christian Niebe. But there was also a version of Who Goes There printed also as The Thing from Another World. There's also, after the author's death, he had sent a manuscript of a bigger version of the short story, because it was a short story. It was like a 12 to 14 chapter short story in this magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's a manuscript. There was a manuscript that he had written out that just covered more stuff. Fleshed it out more, and that was called Frozen Hell.
Oh. Because the story was always about an alien that could shapeshift attacking people in the Arctic, right?
Yeah.
Because that's the scary part of it is, you're out there, you're by yourself. Who knows? Who could it be? Is it a dog? Woof. Is it a person?
But this version of The Thing by John Carpenter released in 1982, so technically a remake of an older film, a film that came out 30 years before. John Carpenter directed, of course. We all know John Carpenter famously has done
a thing or two.
Dark Star, Halloween, Escape from New York, Christine, Big Trouble in Little China, They Live, which is a great movie.
Oh, which one is that one again?
It's the one with Rowdy Piper and Keith David.
No, Keith David.
When he puts on the sunglasses, he sees everybody's been replaced with aliens.
Oh, that's not the one where Donald Sutherland points and is like, right?
No, that's Invasion of the Body Snatchers.
Oh, okay.
They Live is WWF, wrestler Roddy Piper
I don't.
and
I know
Keith
the
David
name, but I don't
go on a
No. You know, kind of
killing
looking
spree.
through his filmography here, I would wait, vampires as in the one with James Woods? Okay, that's my favorite.
That's your favorite John Carpenter movie?
Because of my established weird and unfortunate crush on James Woods. I did watch that movie a lot. So I do thoroughly enjoy it. Although I do have to respect The Thing as being a great fucking movie. I never did see Starman, but I did see that weird remake with Jeff Bridges and Kevin Spacey, which I enjoyed at the time. I probably would not anymore. I've never seen Big Trouble in Little China. I've never seen Prince of Darkness. Shocker here, folks. I haven't watched a lot of horror films. So when it comes to John Carpenter movies, I haven't seen a ton of them. But,
Escape from New York. Escape from New York is great.
Yeah.
Halloween.
Haven't seen it.
Halloween is
Haven't seen it.
one of the best horror films ever made. Even though
They've
that
ruined
being
it
said,
with all the sequels.
they have ruined it with all the sequels. But that being said, The Thing is definitely my favorite John Carpenter movie.
The Thing is a great fucking movie. Like, I get that if all of his other movies are as good as The Thing, I might actually like the dude. But, you know, you're going to drag me kicking and screaming into a lot of them, whether I like them or not. And I think for me, the reason why I like this movie so much is because I enjoyed the suspense more than the horror, if that makes sense. The suspense of who could it be is so much more entertaining than the weird, disgusting body horror that came of it.
Bill Lancaster wrote the screenplay for The Thing, and he's really just known for writing the screenplay for Bad News Bears.
Oh.
He went from Bad News Bears to The Thing.
And really nothing else of note after that?
No. Very short IMDb list.
Well, you know what? Good for him. He's got 2 bangers. The Bad News Bears being one of Kevin Smith's favorite films. This is a great film. You know, like, sometimes you leave a small but tangible dent in Hollywood was left by Bill Lancaster, so at least we got that going for him.
And then you have the music.
Yes.
Done by the famous Ennio Morricone, who we had just talked about. In our last episode when we did Django Unchained.
So one of the fascinating things I read about the music is that this soundtrack, which when I saw his name pop up on the credits at the beginning of the movie, I was like, the fucking spaghetti western guy? No. And Caveman pulled it up and he's like, yep.
Yeah, I remember somebody else talking about him being who he was.
Yeah.
Because I don't watch a lot of those old Italian westerns.
That he was dead too. I always kind of assumed that he was an older man when he did the spaghetti westerns in the 70s. So the fact that he made...
He's an old man now.
Oh, yeah. But I guess I always sort of thought that he was an older... In my head, when I heard of him, I always thought that he was an old man then. But he used some... So...
He did die.
This music for The Thing was nominated for a Razzie for Worst Score when the film came out.
I saw that.
Which I don't think is correct, because I thought the music was tense.
Oh, it was fantastic. I love the music.
It added to the film. It did not detract from the film. It got to the point where I was like, I need to pay attention to this music because it's, you know, Morricone's work, and so I need to pay attention. But then I forgot that thought and got into the film. So I don't think it was that bad. So I don't know what the Razzies were smoking that year. But he used some themes from this movie in the score for The Hateful Eight, which got him an Oscar. So music from his worst film, quote unquote, according to the awards and the system, got him an Oscar for his best music. Which I thought was interesting and probably a very nice, like, fuck you to the critics and to the Razzies to an extent. I mean, I couldn't tell you a single theme right now, but at no point was I like, music's too much.
Oh man, it's that
just that creepy sort of background.
And it's very much just like Halloween. It's just that sometimes high pitched, sometimes
ominous.
Yeah, of course. Very 80s, like
very 80s.
Yeah, unfortunately, Morricone did die in 2020. But what a
I mean, fuck, what a legacy that guy left.
Legacy, like 546 projects
Woo!
from the 60s, and he worked all the way to his death. He even had projects come out after he had died because of stuff that he was still working on. Famous for spaghetti western music, but in America, he was famous he did the music for The Hateful Eight, The Untouchables, Once Upon a Time in America, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, Cinema Paradiso, The Mission, which, oh my god, the music to The Mission. It's with,
Gibson?
No, it's with, Robert De Niro.
The Mission.
Yeah, young Robert De Niro. He plays a father, a Catholic priest.
Well, name like The Mission.
Yeah. It's a beautiful movie. Just as beautiful.
Oh,
music.
yeah, I vaguely remember. Oh, Jeremy Irons. Oh, fuck yeah! I remember seeing the poster of Robert De Niro with like the sword and his leg outstretched. I might want to watch this. I don't think I've ever seen this film. I mean, I don't care much for The Missionaries, but I do care much for.
It's got a from what I remember, it's got a pretty good story.
Yeah.
I
mean, Jeremy Irons.
But the cinematography and music are definitely
good. Sweet Jesus! Look at baby Jeremy Irons. God, he could have destroyed me. Ooh, you play that flute, sir.
Morricone also did Casualties of War and In the Line of Fire. His music has been used in Tarantino's Kill Bill, Death Proof, Inglourious Bastards,
Liam
Django.
Neeson was in The Mission.
Oh my gosh, you're still on The Mission.
I'm sorry. This cast is full of fucking babes. Sorry. I look, my eyes got distracted by baby babes. I regret nothing.
Cinematography for the thing was by Dean Cundy. 103 projects since the 70s.
Yeah, it's a good one.
He worked on Where the Red Fern Grows, Halloween, The Fog, Escape from New York.
So he's done something with John Carpenter.
Romancing the Stone, Back to the Future trilogy.
Oh, wow.
Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Nice.
Roadhouse. Hook.
Oh.
Jurassic Park.
Oh, wow.
The Flintstones.
Oh.
Casper.
No.
And Apollo 13 are
God
just
damn.
among a few of his. I know.
Well, you know what?
Massive.
I did not necessarily notice the cinematography of this movie, but looking back on it, it did have some beautifully set up shots.
Some great set up shots to really show off the special effects and visual effects.
But also the bleak sort of
makeup.
Frozen wasteland. I'm thinking of like, you know, specifically the shots where they're like going to Kurt Russell's cabin and there's the guide wire or the guideline and just like watching them struggle through. Like the way that the outdoor sets, the cold sets were filmed, I thought was very, very cool. And then like, yeah, that matte painting of that big giant UFO, the gore of it all. Yeah, no, the cinematography of this movie, now that you mentioned it, was pretty great. I wasn't paying attention at the time because I was just letting it hit me.
We don't talk about makeup artists very often.
We do not, no.
At
We haven't
Movie
had
Mingle.
need to.
We really haven't had a need to, but makeup and special effects by Rob Bottin. He was the mastermind behind essentially the way the monsters looked, and him and his team creating all of those practical effects of the monster transforming or scurrying away, or
this was
just
the
like
practical effects in this goddamn film.
Like when the
chest
when the stick opens up and bites
like
the guy's arms off.
Oh, it's so fucking
so awesome.
And I have seen that scene before, you know, because The Thing is one of those films that, because I never thought to watch it and I never cared to watch it, I was never like burdened by spoilers for it, you know. And I've watched plenty of, you know, movie like best of like special effects, best horror movies, blah blah blah. Like I've watched enough of those over the years that I've seen scenes of The Thing, and I think that I kind of vaguely understood what happened in the movie, although I did not understand at all what happened in this fucking movie. But like, yeah, I have seen that scene before where the chest opens up and bites that dude's arms off, and I was like, gory, gross, whatever, blah. But when it actually happened, I was like screaming in my seat. So yeah, it's fucking the practical effects in this film. The fact that you pointed out to me the practical effect of the title sequence. Like I would like to. I was gonna bring this up before we recorded, but after we watched the film, of course, because I'm sure there has to be some behind the scenes on how exactly it was done.
Yes.
And I wanted to understand that better, but we just never got to that.
The best I can do, like, I don't think there's any like behind the scenes video of them actually pulling off that opening title sequence with the Thing title burning on the screen. Which essentially was done with a fish aquarium, a trash bag, and a lighter, and some other materials.
How did they get it to like perforate out perfectly to spell out the Thing?
They had the camera pointed right at I believe it was pointed right at the aquarium, and the trash bag burned away to reveal the Thing title.
You know, I feel like I've said it once or twice before. I love CG as much as the next person. They, obviously they have been able to do incredible things from Gollum to Wakanda to fucking, I guess those Avatar movies a little bit. Like computer generated movie images are incredible, right? Like they have made things so lifelike, what they've been able to do with computers. Look at Red Dead 2, like how lifelike that world is and how easily it is to get sucked into it thinking that it's real because it's so visually beautiful. But old movies had to rely on practical effects, and they were clever, and they were studious, and they were cheap, and they did the fucking job, and they did it beautifully. The practical effects of the T-Rex head in Jurassic Park when it's attacking the car, because that's a big, giant fucking puppet, is so much better than the trailer for that new Jurassic Park movie that's coming out this summer with the pretty people that looks boring as fuck. Like, it's... Practical effects are always the name of the game. I mean, look at what Peter Jackson did with The Lord of the Rings and all of the bigatures and the makeup effects and everything, versus look at The Hobbit, which was soulless and all done digitally. Like, there is something to be said about practical effects, and I know it's not cheap now, and I know it's not practical now, but you can kind of tell when you're watching a movie when somebody's standing on a green screen acting to no one, versus this goddamn film, which is, all those puppets and those squiggly things and the head on the legs and all of that. Like, it's incredible what they were able to do in the early 80s with a decent-sized budget, because it wasn't cheap. And, just a want to show what the creatures actually were and having no other way to do it than just building it. And I think I know I don't speak for just myself when I say I will always prefer practical effects over digital.
A standard fish tank was used as the main container for the effect. Smoke was added to the tank to create a hazy background for the title. An animation cell showing the title The Thing was drawn on a transparent animation cell and placed at the back of the tank.
Oh, wow. So it didn't burn away. It just
it revealed it.
It revealed it.
A plastic garbage bag was stretched over the tank's opening to create a distorted, rippling surface. A light was shown through the plastic bag, illuminating the letters on the animation cell. And then the effect was captured on camera, capturing the way the plastic bag moved and distorted the light passing through the letters, mimicking the creature's shifting form.
God, that's incredible. That's so flippin' cool. If you haven't seen The Thing, and you're listening to this anyways, Jesse, because I know you didn't want to watch this movie.
Do it. Stop this. Jesse. Stop this. Go watch it. And then come back.
Yeah, okay. And if you don't want to, at least just fucking Google the
If
title
Maggie
sequence.
liked it.
I really liked it. And I think you'd really like it too. Because I messaged her and was like, fuck, I liked it. And she was like, no. And I was like, I know. Yeah, at the very least, go check out that title sequence, because the fact that it is an entirely a practical effect is incredible. It's funny, I've got the thing spread across so many different tabs on my computer that it doesn't even look like a real word anymore. I'm like, THING, ew, what word is that? Oh, it's thing.
Rob Bottin also did makeup and effects for Legend, which had a lot of makeup and effects.
Yes, not a movie I enjoy at all, but respect for the...
RoboCop, which...
That fucking... I mean, goddamn it, talk about practical effects.
Yeah. Total Recall, which I think he...
It's not a Duma.
I think he himself came up with the head, the woman's head that Arnold wears towards the beginning of the film.
Okay.
Oh, that's right. You don't watch this stuff.
No.
For those of you who know Total Recall, you know what I'm talking about. He also did Fight Club and Mission Impossible as makeup. So
respect.
He's got a range, and obviously
this is one of his first films.
He's done a lot of stuff.
Yeah. I do know that the production company was like, we're not going to give you as much money as you want for the practical effects. And they came back and they were like, yes, you fucking are. Yes, you absolutely fucking are giving us the money we need for the practical effects.
Oh, yeah, he also worked on he was also in the makeup department for Seven.
Oh, ew. Oh, fuck. I mean, like, I don't like that movie at all, but it has pretty legit makeup.
Oh, he did The Explorers.
The Explorers?
Oh, I love The Explorers.
The Explorers?
The Explorers is this silly movie from 1985 with Ethan Hawke, River Phoenix, and a couple other kids.
Babies.
Yeah, they're all babies, but they essentially is this, and it instilled in me this desire and imagination to have the imagination to go to my backyard and build something and pretend that I was flying in a rocket ship or an airplane or something.
Cute.
Because essentially this boy who's obsessed with 50s sci-fi movies and about aliens, and he has this dream about essentially he needs to build this rocket ship.
Yeah, if you build it, they will come.
So he has an inventor friend who I don't remember which kid is which, but him and his friend build a rocket ship in their backyard with just like junkyard parts.
Yeah, sure, as you do.
And then they shoot up into space.
I think that happened in a Fast and Furious movie too.
They did, yeah. Fast and Furious did it. But they go into space and they like dock with an alien spaceship and meet. They're like these 3 kids who just meet aliens.
All right.
It's really wholesome and cute, and
probably aged terribly in terms of special effects.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Of course, but yeah, it's one of those Ethan Hawke, River Phoenix movies that I never watch.
Yeah.
And then when I'm reminded about it, I'm like, I want to watch that because
you're gonna watch it now, aren't you?
I am, because now I'm reminded of it and being like, that was my childhood. And
you
now,
have fun with that. I'll be in the bedroom watching The Repair Shop. Should I talk about The Repair Shop on this podcast? Oh, okay.
Please.
But
everybody already knows. No, everybody knows.
Nobody knows. I'm the only one who knows
They're
about
all
The Repair
aware
Shop.
Already.
Watch The Repair Shop.
The Thing has an 85% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Which is shocking because at the beginning it did not. This movie was not very... I was reading.
Oh, no.
It was not widely received at all.
It was not widely received, but that's because it was...
a post-E.T. movie.
Well,
people wanted cuddly aliens, not fucking psychotic, violent aliens.
E.T. came out the same year.
Yeah.
And it was also a very graphically violent film.
E.T.?
No, this.
Oh, yeah. I was like, E.T. is not graphically violent. E.T.'s fucking boring.
You watched the wrong E.T.
I said it. I'll say it again.
Oh, yeah. E.T. is very boring.
That movie sucks.
Donkey dick?
Yeah, I wasn't going to say that, but yes, I hate E.T. And I'm not the only one, too. There's a large swath of our generation that's like, fuck E.T.
It's like...
Some people I know are terrified by him. Like, terrified.
When you're a kid, it can be fun, but not for everybody.
Yeah.
Like,
No, because that little thing is creepy as fuck.
I'd rather watch but back then, I would have rather watched
much rather watch
Ghostbusters than E.T.
Any goddamn day of the week. In fact, most days of the week, because that was the movie my brother made my family watch on repeat. Was
I just don't know
Ghostbusters.
how this all-powerful alien being can
Yeah.
also just be so stupid.
I'd rather watch Mac and Me, honestly.
Me.
Like, fucking, I've seen Mac and Me.
That movie's
It's
so
awful.
terrible.
But I would much rather watch Mac and Me than I would
Might
ever
be more
watch
than
E.T. Yeah.
But eventually, the thing got an
Eventually.
85% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Yes.
And a 92% from audiences.
And it was one of those things that it became such a cult classic that it had to be revisited by the critics. Because enough people are like, fuck you, the thing's amazing, for critics to go back and be like, okay.
we were wrong.
Let's reevaluate this one. Which I guess is nice that they did.
Everybody,
go back to
that's the
reevaluate
thing.
it.
But that's the thing that happens all the time, especially comparing sci-fi
Mm-hmm.
with horror. Even though the thing is very sci-fi, but it's also
But it's a sci-fi horror movie
it's a very
versus
horror
a
film.
sci-fi children's movie.
right.
Like-
And I think something like a Steven Spielberg film is always going to get
The
more
better
recognition
rating,
than a horror film
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, I mean, look at the way that like the Academy treats horror films. They treat it like they're non-existent when there's some of
Yeah, with the
better
exceptions
films
of
out
just
there.
the few that get through, like
Yeah.
Get Out and
the substance.
The Exorcist and The Substance this
Yeah.
year, which, oh my God, if it won, because it's doing so well in other award shows.
I don't know. I'm worried about Amelia Perez because it's getting
Every-
way too many awards.
Everybody's worried about
I'm
Amelia
really
Perez.
worried about Amelia Perez. I don't want this year to be one of those years where they're like, the Oscars got it wrong.
I'm going to watch that movie.
Oh, not fun.
I do have to mention The Thing from 2011.
Yes, I read the plot synopsis to try to understand how it connects to this movie because it's not a remake.
It is not a remake. I think a lot of people thought it was a remake.
Yes, it is a prequel.
It's a prequel.
Yeah.
It's what's happening at the Norwegian base
Yes.
before it reaches our American
Yeah.
crew from this film.
Which, I mean, nothing good could have come from that because,
I've
I saw
seen-
what happened to that Norwegian base.
I've seen the 2011 film twice.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
Jason Clarke? No.
No, Joel
Joel
Edgerton,
Edgerton. So, yes,
and
it's
Mary Elizabeth Winstead.
Yeah. So,
It's
you know,
fine.
Joel Edgerton is a cardboard cutout being moved from scene to scene. You know,
Joel Edgerton's not.
he's not
that kind of
bad,
actor.
but I'm never excited to see a Joel Edgerton film. I'm sorry.
You haven't watched the right ones.
Have I not?
No.
No.
It's fine, like I said, but I feel like it was an excuse for somebody to make, because it almost looks just like the 1982 one. It's like somebody decided, I really want to do a Thing remake, and they're like,
But
no,
you can't
that's
don't
stupid
fucking
because
remake The
nobody
Thing.
can remake the
Yeah.
Thing. And they're like, what about a prequel, and we do all the same things happen.
Yeah.
Like, they discover it almost the same way. They use the blow torches. I think instead of testing blood with a hot piece of metal,
Mm-hmm.
they at least came up with a different way
To
test.
find
And
out.
right now I cannot remember what it was. I just remember it was not
Yeah.
a hot piece
I
of
read
metal
the
on
synopsis, and the main
blood.
thing that I took from it was like, oh, the two main characters are American, anyways.
And it was
Even though
another
it's set
chance.
in Norwegian,
Yeah,
like an Antarctic.
and it was
Norwegian
another
base.
excuse to show off some creature effects,
Mm-hmm.
but the creature effects in the 2011 version,
We're just not as good.
they don't hold a flame to the original. And audiences and critics agreed, because it got a 34% from critics and a 43% from audiences.
And that's not a movie that they're going to revisit in 20 years and be like, actually, I think it was amazing. They were probably going to revisit it and be like, we really didn't need this.
Yeah, it really wasn't necessary.
No.
It's kind of cool just to kind of connect what happened, but at the same time,
Unnecessary.
you don't need to know.
Yeah.
Like
And
the way
not
the
knowing.
way the movie unfolds.
Yeah.
And
when
not
you
knowing
see what happens at that base, you're just like, Jesus Christ, what happened?
what the hell happened,
But
and then
not knowing
seeing
is
it
scarier.
slowly seeing it happen
Yeah.
to our
That
crew.
dude that like cut his throat and wrists, I don't need to know what happened to that dude. I get what happened to that fucking dude. Especially after watching the movie and the paranoia of who could it be, and is it me, and I don't know it
Yeah,
yet.
them
Like,
not even knowing if it's them.
like, that is so much better than, like, oh, I happen to know that character was an English gentleman. Blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't need... I mean, I'm never going to watch that movie. I say now. But, like, I'm probably not going to watch that movie. Because if I'm going to watch The Thing, I'm just going to sit down and watch this again.
Well, like you said, with the reception of the original from 1982 not doing so well, it was made for $15 million, and it made 20 domestically, and as of 2013 has made $10 million on home media.
Yeah.
For a total of 31, and so that's, now it's making its money back. So
It was a
profitable
long con
film.
investment.
Obviously, it's
Yeah.
become a cult classic with horror fans and science fiction fans,
As
but
so many horror films have, too.
that's usually the way it
Yeah.
rolls. Like, it.
I mean, these
General
days horror
audiences-
movies make fucking money at the box office.
There's what we like. There's the mainstream horror,
Yeah.
like your James Wan movies
Yeah.
and
Your fucking the Conjuring franchises, and then there's
the
like
Purge, and
and then
like,
there's like It Follows and The Substance, which I know that The Substance is getting a lot of recognition, but I think it's because of
it's because of
of
how well
good
it
of is.
did.
Yeah, what a good movie it is. But I don't think it was necessarily a box office draw.
I don't.
correct?
I
Like I think it was like a slow build. It was that it seems like to me, I mean, I could be talking out of my ass entirely, which is what I do about 80% of the time on this podcast, but it seems to me like The Substance was one of those films that it was like a word of mouth thing. Holy shit.
Definitely a word of mouth film.
I just saw the craziest fucking movie and now I need to take you to see it, or you need to go see it. I know for a fact that, I'm responsible for plenty word of mouth films where I'm just like, oh my God, you have to fucking see it. And I know that you can trust me because you know that I'm a movie nerd. But, like, it seemed to me like I didn't hear about The Substance until all of a sudden I fucking heard about The Substance,
Okay, so The Substance was made for $17.5 million, and it made just under $17.5 million at the box office domestically.
Yeah.
It
So,
made,
yeah, it's kind of a sleeper hit.
but it made $60 million internationally.
Ooh.
Like that,
Yeah.
you don't really see that
Plus,
a lot.
I mean, we don't know what the digital / home media sales are
Not
anymore.
yet. I mean, I own it.
Yeah, but you own it. Yeah.
I was one of the first. Like as soon as it,
You got it on 4K too,
I
right?
pre-ordered it on 4K.
God damn. Was that before or after we got a 4K television?
It was before we got the
So
TV.
you were like, one day I'm going to want
One
to
day
watch
I'm
this
gonna want to
movie.
watch this on 4K,
God, you fucking nerd.
and now I get to,
Yeah, we'll have
which
fun
I'll
with
probably
that.
do this weekend.
And I will be in my bedroom watching The Repair Shop.
Great. I know we're going on with box office stuff a lot, but the other thing.
Oh, yes, the Joel Edgerton's Thing. How much money has Joel Edgerton's Thing made?
Well,
Little thing.
it cost $38 million to make,
Okay, that's
which,
not
no,
bad.
it's not a lot. It's not a lot of money.
That's
it's
not
slightly
bad.
over a really expensive indie film.
Yeah.
But domestically, it brought in 17.
Whew.
Internationally, it brought in under 11.
Yikes.
So almost 28, and then the home media sales were at 11.
I bet they pushed the hell out of that movie too.
Which, if you're
I
keeping
bet that
up-
movie had a budget when it came to advertising.
Well, if you add all that together,
Yeah.
including all the home media sales, it's 38 million, which is what it was made for. So it has only made back what it cost to.
Not unless you count. I guarantee goddamn to you, I don't remember much of 2011 because.
Oh, I'm sure
It was
they.
in
I'm sure they
between
put
children.
some.
But I bet you they put some effort into trying to get people out there. Like, did you like the thing? You'll like this thing, and everybody collectively went, "No, we don't. We don't actually like that thing."
I think a lot of people didn't watch it because they thought it was a remake.
Mm-hmm.
So out of spite and loyalty to the original, they were just like, "Nope."
Well, how do you? I know that we live in an era of reboots and remakes and sequels.
Yeah. And they just
All
called it
of
The
which-
Thing. It wasn't like The
No.
Thing prequel.
It wasn't
Or
like if they had called
The
it
Thing before
The Thing,
The before times.
or pre-thing, or
Pre-thing.
The Thing cometh, or I mean, if they had just in any way acknowledged that The Thing it was a prequel.
The Almost a Thing.
It's not The Thing. It's almost
the
thing.
Yeah.
If they had to call it just Before the Thing, or how about The Thing Before? That right there is a better title for that movie than The Thing, because it's prequel. Why wasn't it called The Thing Before? And then maybe people would have been like, you know what, I kind of do want to watch what happens at that Norwegian base. But, you know, they took a gamble and it did not pay out. And now it's just it's just a footnote. It is forever connected to a great horror film, but as a joke.
Finally, we have its awards. It was nominated. It had 5 nominations and didn't win anything.
Well, it's a Saturn Award.
It was nominated for 2 Saturn Awards, Best Horror Film, but it went to The Dead Zone.
Okay.
Which was Christopher Walken and Tom Skerritt.
He can, like, he touches you and knows how you die.
I think that's what that is.
I only know that because they made fun of it on SNL.
And special effects, which was nominated for special effects, which I was like, are you kidding? These special effects didn't win.
What won?
E.T.
God damn.
Fucking course.
God damn it. Fuck. You know what? Fuck you, E.T.
Fuck E.T.
We're gonna go out on a limb here at Movie Mingle Podcast and say we are anti.
Not just going on a limb. Not just going on a limb.
Nope.
We are placing our flag on this hill, saying
we are dying on this hill.
Fuck E.T.
Fuck you, E.T. And the horse you rode in on. You can eat our butts, E.T.
All right, Maggie, let's get into the cast.
Oh, God, can we get into the cast? Yes.
Well, I mean, the man himself,
God damn it. Fucking Kurt fucking Russell.
I fucking love Kurt Russell so much.
He is so hot. It's frankly, it's untoward at how fucking hot he is, which is annoying because Kurt Russell at his hottest is now what his son looks like. And I'm like, God damn it.
Well, and Kurt Russell at his youngest looks like your brother.
No, don't say that. Don't ruin that boner for me. Fuck you, God
the first
damn it.
The first thing I saw. The first thing I saw.
Which brother?
The middle one.
Oh, God, don't ruin it for me.
I'm sorry. It's just it's the way.
No.
Especially when he's got the glasses on. I'm sorry.
Don't do that to me because Kurt Russell is so hot.
You know what?
Do you know what it's like? You don't know what it's like to be a girl growing up with
I don't know what it's like to be a girl.
Growing up with older brothers.
brothers.
And having your friends be like, oh my God, your brothers are so hot. I still have friends that are like, oh my God, your brothers are so hot. I don't need to hear that shit. They're my brothers. Gross. Yes, does the oldest one kind of remind me of Leonardo DiCaprio in a weird way? Yes. Does the middle one, I guess, now kind of remind me of a young Kurt Russell? Fuck you. Yes. God damn you. But it doesn't take away my boner for a young Kurt Russell or my boner for Captain Ron, so fuck you.
Kurt Russell started acting when he was 11 years old.
Baby.
He was a baby.
He was baby.
And
he's played fucking Elvis so many times.
I'm always happy when Kurt Russell's in a movie. Especially when I didn't know he was in it and he just shows up. First of all, I didn't know that Kurt Russell was in an episode of Gilligan's Island. That's how long Kurt Russell has been acting.
And he was such baby. All those weird Disney movies he made with like monkeys and shit.
Yeah.
My first memory of Kurt Russell was the movie Overboard. Because my dad loved the movie Overboard. And now that movie has not aged well in terms of how it treats women or amnesia or literally anything. But it doesn't matter because I kind of fucking love Overboard so much. Him and Goldie Hawn have such good chemistry that you're like, oh, I see why they've been together forever. My very first memory of going to see a movie is The Fox and the Hound.
Oh, wow.
Although, I guess maybe not, because that came out in 1981. But I swear to God, I remember seeing it on the big screen.
Yeah, I don't know if they did any
like some sort of redo.
They could have
in the early 90s.
Early 90s, they could, of course, especially drive-in theaters. But
well, no, because I don't remember seeing it at a drive-in theater. I specifically remember seeing it at the theater that you and I just went and saw Captain America at. I vividly remember going to that movie theater as a child.
I grew up with Escape from New York. Like, he was Snake Plissken to me forever. Of course, there's Big Trouble in Little China, but I didn't watch that until I was older. Tango and Cash was actually a movie that I watched when I was a teenager. Backdraft was one of those movies that I watched forever.
That fucking terrifies me.
One of his best, and I might end up saying that it is my favorite. Russell or
Kurt Russell, not Russell Crowe.
No,
maybe it wasn't The Fox and the Hound. I do remember seeing The Little Mermaid in the theater.
I'll probably end up saying that it's my favorite Kurt Russell film.
Yeah,
but Tombstone.
Fucking Tombstone is one of the greatest goddamn movies of all time. How have we not done a bonus episode on Tombstone?
How have we not done a bonus episode on any Western? How would no Western? Not a single Western made it into this list.
Django Unchained literally just
this last week.
But no, Tombstone is one of the greatest goddamn movies to exist ever.
But the fact that
it's not on this list.
But the fact that the fact that the people who they got all this information of to build this list, Letterboxd we're talking about, and nobody was interested in a single like the good, the bad, and the ugly. Yeah. At the very least.
Tombstone should be on this goddamn
Tombstone
list.
should be on this list.
Because Tombstone is one of the greatest Westerns of all time. It's one of the greatest, I guess, modern Westerns, although it was made in 93.
It's one of the...
And you know what makes me so
It's one
happy?
of the best Kurt Russell movies.
Yep.
It's one of the best Val Kilmer movies. It's one of the best Bill Paxton movies.
Yep. Bill Paxton, fucking pour one out for the king. One of my favorite things about Tombstone is the fact that Tombstone came out before the Kevin Costner Wyatt Earp, and sucked up all of the goodwill and all of the energy and all of the like fucking everybody's like, Tombstone's amazing, Wyatt Earp exists, Tombstone's amazing, and how angry that must have made a Kevin Costner, because Kevin Costner was like, I'm gonna make a Wyatt Earp movie and it's gonna get me all of the awards and I'm amazing because I'm Kevin Costner and it's a Western, and fucking swoops in Kurt Russell as Wyatt Earp, and just Tombstone's a movie that I would put on right now and watch.
Oh, Tombstone's
one
of the best films.
Fucking movie. Sam Elliott, the whole cast.
Oh, everybody's great.
I grew up watching Captain Ron. It was a favorite in our household. It remains a favorite. Fucking dawn comes early on a boat, doesn't it, Captain Ron? Oh yeah, boss. Happens every morning, just about sunup. Fucking, that's such a great line. Steve Martin. He's
great. Steve Martin's great in the movie, but
Kurt Russell have
is,
such fun chemistry.
They do.
I cannot tell you how often I'll go, dude, Mom's pissed, which is a line from that movie. Captain Ron is a great film, and even if it just is beloved to my family, Captain Ron is a great fucking film.
Growing up, Stargate was a big one for me.
Yeah, you do.
I'm a huge sci-fi fan, so Stargate was right up my alley. Even though I haven't seen a single episode of any of the Stargate TV shows.
No, I vaguely remember watching Stargate the movie, but
yeah, Roland Emmerich, 2 years before he did Independence Day, Stargate.
I can't believe Stargate came out before Escape from L.A. But I guess Escape from New York was first, wasn't it?
Yeah, New York is the better film anyway.
Backdraft was a movie that terrified me as a child, but my dad really liked, so he watched a lot of. And, when you grow up, usually your parents are the ones that control what you watch. Not in our household, annoyingly. But, at least in my era, it was like the movies that my dad watched and liked were the movies that we watched and liked. So Backdraft was on a lot, and it terrified me because of the fire. And the way that the fire, roared like a monster. Ugh. I never did see Vanilla Sky because, honestly, I don't care.
He has a great part in Vanilla Sky. I like his character. He's very much like a dad.
Revisit Vanilla Sky later on in my life, like now and
great
at
soundtrack.
This point, because I do love Cameron Crowe movies, but at the time I was like, fuck you, Tom Cruise, I can't.
I get it.
Yeah.
3,000 Miles to Graceland is a really fun movie.
He has played Elvis a lot.
He played Elvis in
Forrest Gump. He played Elvis in an Elvis movie.
He played the voice of Elvis.
It's still, he played Elvis.
Sure.
But he played Elvis a couple of times.
But in 3,000 Miles to Graceland, he plays Elvis impersonator with Kevin Costner, who's also playing an Elvis impersonator.
Do you think Kevin Costner was like, dude, what the fuck? Tombstone. Why?
Yeah. Oh, wow. They both play Elvis and they both play...
Yeah, fucking Wyatt Earp. I think it was tense on set. I never saw Death Proof. or Planet Terror or whatever that was.
He's great in that.
He does show up in the Fast and Furious movies.
He's in because of Death Proof.
Yeah.
Because he's in Death Proof, I feel like that is what got him the job for Hateful Eight. Because he's got a great character. He always plays just great characters,
and he is the voice of
even
he's
something
the narrator
dumb
in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even something dumb in what?
He's the narrator of Once Upon a Time in Hollywood.
I thought he was the stuntman.
He's the stuntman, but he's also the narrator. On the rare occasions that there's narration in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, it's Kurt Russell's voice.
I thought that was a different movie.
No.
So he plays the narrator
I
and the stunt guy.
specifically remember hearing his voice
Yeah,
when, at the end when they were talking about Sharon Tate's, quote unquote, last few hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder why they chose him after just introducing him as the stuntman.
Because it's Tarantino, man.
I know.
And he's like, hey, man, I fucking love Kurt Russell, man. Like, he's just amazing, man. Like, look at all the shit he's done. Like, fucking love him, man. It's my Tarantino impression.
No, it's great. But Kurt Russell, even when he's doing something dumb like Fast 9, he's still
Kurt Russell.
He's still Kurt Russell.
I did not see the Christmas Chronicles, but I hear it was really good.
I heard that was good too, and
I did see Bone Tomahawk, and I'm fucking angry about it.
I love fucking listeners.
Bone, God damn it, no! Don't watch Bone Tomahawk. Don't. That movie is.
Bone Tomahawk.
You go into thinking it's one thing, and it's so fucking disturbing.
If you want to see
it's
really
like cannibalistic and violent, don't fucking watch it.
It's so good.
No, it's not, and I'm still angry that you made me watch it.
It's got a 7.1 on IMDb.
It doesn't matter what
score.
it fucking has. Fuck that movie.
Russell Crowe.
Nope. Who else was in it?
Patrick Wilson, Matthew Fox.
Oh, God, Matthew Fox.
Richard Jenkins.
Don't fucking watch Bone Tomahawk.
David Arquette's
Do not do it.
Oh, it's so good.
It's violent. It is horrifyingly violent.
If you're a horror fan,
don't watch it.
If you're a horror fan, please
don't watch
it.
No, don't watch Bone Tomahawk.
Wilford Brimley.
Diabetes.
That's what everybody unfortunately thinks of when they think of Wilford Brimley.
I still refer to gestational diabetes as the fetus diabetes.
Diabetes.
I think that's hysterical, and I need that to catch on. Because I had a friend at work who had to go on medical leave for the fetus diabetes. It is a serious pregnancy.
There was a moment there where I think we thought you might.
Well, I mean, you always get tested for it.
Right.
And it's a very scary test because they're like, you cannot eat anything for like 12 hours. You got to go into the building. You got to drink the most disgusting orange drink on this planet. And like, moms, you know what I mean. It tastes like Gatorade with extra sugar and salt. It's fucking the worst. And you chug it, and then you have to sit around for like an hour, and then they draw your blood, and then they send you off because you're done. And then you have to wait to find out whether or not you have gestational diabetes. Gestational diabetes is deadly for the mother. It's deadly for the child. It is a serious pregnancy complication, and I am so grateful that I didn't have it either time. But both times that I was tested for it ended up being kind of fun memories because of who I was with and how it happened. As the first time I was with my mom, and the second time I was with the woman that delivered our son, my dear friend and doctor, who delivered our child. And she took me to get bacon and eggs and orange juice at that weird little diner that they loved out on fucking 66. But no, you don't want to fuck around with the fetus diabetes. But calling it the fetus diabetes is really funny.
That being said, Wilford Brimley
has done a thing or two, and I haven't seen a lot of it.
He's in The Natural, which is a movie that I absolutely love.
I haven't seen.
I
was today just talking about The Unnatural, the X-Files episode based on that episode about an alien with Jesse L. Martin.
Huh.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
He was also in The Firm with Tom Cruise and Gene Hackman.
It.
Oh my God.
I haven't seen Cocoon.
Pretty good. Cocoon. I grew up watching Cocoon.
Of course you did. What a wholesome movie for you and your family to watch while we were over there watching Backdraft.
Exactly. Cocoon is such a great movie. Steve Guttenberg, of course. Bunch of great older actors in it because it's about this alien, the presence of this alien species.
Mm-hmm.
Is discovered, and they bring it into this retirement home, pool, and so the pool, it's kind of like the fountain of youth.
Yeah.
Essentially, is what it becomes,
Makes
and so
everybody younger.
so all these older retirees
Wasn't
go
Wilford
swimming
Brimley,
and
like,
become.
a lot younger than we thought he was.
Oh,
in most of his
he's
movies.
he's been an old man since he started acting.
Yeah.
And
Like going through just the list that I'm looking
like I think
at
the Thing,
right
I think
here.
him in the Thing is the youngest I ever saw him, and
Oh.
he looks like he's 50.
I legitimately wrote down some men need underlined mustaches. Brimley is one of them.
Brimley needs that
not
mustache.
having a
Tom
mustache
Selleck
in that movie. Tom Selleck without a mustache
needs a mustache.
is not okay. Yeah.
What's his face from the
Sam
Big
Elliott.
Lebowski? Sam
Yeah.
Elliott needs a mustache.
Although he could get it either way, but he definitely needs a mustache. I would say, like, going through his list, I think that the one movie of Wilford Brimley's that I enjoy the most is In and Out. And I
was
couldn't
just gonna
tell
say,
you what
look,
character he
my
was
screen
in
is
In and
on
Out.
In and Out right now
Oh, look
because
at that.
I love In and
That's
Out.
such a funny movie. I haven't seen it in so long.
Kevin Kline. It's
Kevin
a
Kline.
great.
The American
Great
fucking
movie.
treasure that is Kevin Kline. And lately he just does Bob's Burgers stuff, and I'm so grateful for that. Because his Bob's Burgers song about bourbon, where he just sings the word
Bourbon.
bourbon for me.
Oh, bourbon. Oh, bourbon, bourbon, bourbon. Oh, bourbon. Oh, bourbon, 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 bourbon. Oh, bourbon. Oh, 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 oh! Everybody now. Oh, bourbon. Oh, bourbon. Come on now.
But yeah, Wilford Brimley, I just know him. I mean, I mainly know him from the diabetes commercials. Like, and when you pointed out to me, because you were like, by the way, that guy right there is a young, or is a unmustached Wilford Brimley, I was like, the fuck you say? The fuck you say, sir? How
You
dare
can
you?
hear it in his voice.
I couldn't hear it in his voice.
Oh man.
I like, without the mustache, I couldn't quite tell. It's like seeing you without a beard. It's just kind of weird. Or like seeing your dad without a mustache, which I don't think you've ever seen your dad without a mustache.
Not in person, only in photographs.
I remember the first time my dad shaved around me. I was like 5. We were coming. My brother and I went to a neighbor's house, literally our next door's neighbor's house, to play with their little kid. And when we came back, there was this strange man in our backyard calling to us and being like, "Come give me a hug, come give me a hug." And we were like screaming, horrified for our father, because this stranger was like calling for. I mean, it was literally stranger danger. We were like, "Oh my God, Dad, where are you, Dad?" That was our dad. He had just shaved. And it fucked me up. It's still weird not to see my dad with a mustache. My dad needs a mustache. Like,
Some people need facial hair.
I wonder how the kids feel about you when you shave. If they're like, ugh.
But see, I at least
You do it
do
enough.
it at least
Yeah.
like once or twice a year. Twice a year. Whereas with my dad, he has never.
If your dad shaved,
like my dad had
I'd
a
be
full
like,
beard
yeah.
for most of my life, and then it was only until I think he retired
that it went to a goatee.
that went to a goatee.
Yeah.
But I've never seen it go anything other than that.
If we ever saw your dad without facial hair, I think I would.
It'd be-
It'd be the same thing. I'd be like, David.
So weird. Like I said,
Ah!
I've only seen him
In photographs, yeah.
photographs without facial hair, and it's not something. Next we have Keith David,
Fucking Keith, motherfucking.
one of the best voices in Hollywood.
You know what's fascinating to me is you and I love Keith David because he's been a character actor forever because of his turn as the admiral in
Mass
Mass
Effect.
and I don't remember his name.
Admiral Anderson.
Anderson, thank you. And I remember when you started playing that game, you were like, Keith David. But our children know him because of his turn in Has Been Hotel.
Yeah.
I don't remember his character's name offhand in Has Been Hotel, but he does play a character in it. And, like, hearing our children, like, sing along... Oh, he plays a character called Husk. It's the cat. And hearing our children sing along with his song, not knowing that that's Keith fucking David, it's delightful. I personally did not
fun.
necessarily enjoy Has Been Hotel. Our eldest is obsessed with it. You know, he was a voice in The Princess and the Frog. He was a voice in Coraline. Apparently, he was a voice in the most recent Mufasa from The Lion King. He was in the Gargoyles, for fuck's sake, which, by the way, Gargoyles, the Disney cartoon, is one of the greatest things they ever
who
put
did he
out.
play in Gargoyles?
He played one of the gargoyles.
That doesn't help me.
I know it doesn't. So let me open up the tab and tell you. He played Goliath. He was Goliath.
Wait,
He was Goliath
no,
in
I thought.
Gargoyles.
Wait, no.
No, yeah. Jonathan Frakes was the bad guy.
Right, I knew that. But I thought I thought he was played by somebody else.
Motherfucker, he was Goliath. And
No
y'all,
way.
I have always been down for a Beauty and the Beast story, like, for sure. But the relationship between
God.
Goliath and Elisa is something that is so passionate and so beautiful. And, like, the love between them, my heart. Motherfucker, he's Goliath. Like, that is my childhood.
Oh my God, Ed Asner played Hudson.
Yeah.
I don't think I knew that. I knew that Jonathan Frakes was David, and I knew that Marina Sirtis was Demona, but...
Frank Welker was the dog Bronx. Fucking...
Tom Wilson was Matt Bluestone.
Jeff Bennett was Brooklyn. And Tom...
If you guys don't remember who Tom Wilson was, he's Biff from Back to the Future.
Oh, yeah. Funny. But fucking Goliath, like, as a child, was one of those things where I was like, why do I feel these weird feelings
Clancy
for this
Brown,
monster?
of course, was in it. John Rhys Davies was in... Man, I don't know why I didn't know that.
Gargoyles is one of the greatest fucking cartoons.
I mean, I haven't
exist.
seen Gargoyles in decades.
Yeah, I think we tried to rewatch it when Disney Plus
But
came
I don't
out, and then
remember,
we never
like,
just got into it.
Why doesn't my memory be like Keith David has such a recognizable voice. It's like hearing
slightly different.
It's like hearing
as
James Earl
Goliath,
Jones. Like you hear it and you're just like, that's his voice. But yeah, I could see them doing something.
Yeah.
Post production, like
I don't
editing.
think so. I think he just maybe slightly changed
You
his
think
voice.
he did it?
Fucking Goliath was one
I
of
need to
those
watch an
characters
episode
that
now.
I, as a young child, was like, I don't know why I feel this way for him. But like, you talk to me now, and I'm like, yeah, I would have fucked Goliath.
I mean, we have a Goliath and a Hudson.
Yeah, Pop.
Yeah.
Fucking Gargoyles was the shit, my dude. God damn it. I know that you haven't seen it because I asked you pre-podcast, and this really should have been something we saved for a podcast. But you've never seen the movie Men at Work with Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez?
I have not.
Where they play,
at least I don't remember.
Where they play garbage men who discover a dead body and then chaos ensues.
I may have, but
that is another film that my dad really liked. I know that there was a time there when HBO would have free weekends, right? Back when HBO was a cable service. They would be like, this weekend, for free, from like Friday to Monday, HBO is free for everyone. So you could kind of get a gist of what HBO was. And that's when it was just literally movies back to back to back to back. Occasional shows, but mainly it was just movies. And my dad would go on there and he would watch a movie. And then when it came on again, he would record it so that he could, on our VCR with a VHS. And he would keep it. Men at Work was one of those movies. Let It Ride was one of those movies. Captain Ron was one of those movies that we had recorded from the television on VHS. And so, when it came time to like family movie night, like, oh, what do you want to watch? My dad would be like, let's watch Men at Work or let's watch Captain Ron. Men at Work, I always was really disturbed by. Like, because again, I was a young child. It came out in 1990. I probably shouldn't have been watching that film. And I don't remember Keith David's role in it at all. I remember that fucking movie because my dad liked it. Keith David's been in Hercules. He's been in Barbershop. He's been in Requiem for a Dream, which I will never watch again no matter what. He was in the later seasons of Community. He was in Nope. He was in Princess Mononoke. Like, the man's been in everything, and we love him. He was in The American Death is a Death at a Funeral, which we've already talked about. Like, we love Keith David in this family. We always will. And honestly, seeing him as a young man, my immediate thought was like, fuck, Keith David could get it. This was his first movie, and he is hot in this fucking film.
I don't really know many other
actors in this
movie. They're kind of...
I recognize the actor who played the head general, Donald Moffat.
Oh yeah, Donald Moffat. Gary is his character.
I recognize him.
Him.
Random character actor stuff.
Popeye. Oh, Clear and Present Danger is probably what I really know him from.
That and
because he plays the president.
Yeah,
he plays the president in Clear and Present Danger. So that's probably why I know him.
Vaguely recognize him from that. There were a couple the actor that played Nails was really fucking hot too.
Niles.
The guy that played Clark was also kind of hot. Nails was played by T.K. Carter. He was the cook. Clark was played by Richard Masur.
I really like Clark because the guy just wanted his dogs to.
He just wanted his dogs to be okay.
He was so upset when his dogs were killed.
Yeah, I mean,
when Wilford Brimley goes and tries to cut off any kind of escape for the creature, he kills all the dogs, and the look on his face on Clark's face when he realizes all the dogs are dead. And then he just gets shot in the head by Kurt Russell.
To be fair, everybody thinks that he is one of the things.
They do, because he was around the dogs too long. Is why their only reason.
There is a whole thing about is it not? I don't know. Blah, blah, blah.
I feel bad for the guy.
Apparently is he still around? According to Wikipedia.
I think I don't think he's.
No,
I think
he's
he's
not
still
dead
around.
yet.
I'm not dead. Not quite dead yet.
Not dead yet. Not dead yet. But, the man is, at least in that movie, I found him very handsome. I mean, me, I like a beardy man, and lucky you for that. I think the wonderful thing about this cast was outside of Kurt Russell, Wilford Brimley, and Keith David, I did not know who the fuck these people were. And it made it a lot more enjoyable to then watch them sort of succumb one by one to, are they the thing? Are they not the thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. And I enjoyed that for the suspense and the realism.
Kurt Russell, I think, is the only actor who can legitimately pull off the mullet. It's not just this movie, but
is that a mullet?
Escape from New York, Big Trouble in Little China, Tango and Cash.
I mean, it's not a bad look on him because
that's what I'm saying. He pulls it off.
He's got such incredible hair. I found it interesting because they were like, it took him over a year to grow out his look as McCready. But then they were also like, oh, but he was hired 2 weeks before the movie started. Which means that he was just already looking at that. I would not call Kurt Russell's hair in this movie a mullet. It is a Farrah Fawcett. It is not a mullet. Because it is not, business up front and party in the back. It is all party and feathered. It is a lurk.
I don't know.
I am looking at
looks like
pictures
an
of it.
80s
It is not
mullet.
a mullet, sir. A mullet is short up top, long in the back.
I know.
This is feathered. This is coiffed within an inch of his life. And it's a lurk.
I know it is.
And
he pulls it off.
Oh, God, he pulls it off. And I would pull it off
But it
him.
reminds me
Oh,
of a
my
mullet.
God. What I find funny is that every other actor in this movie had one of those big Arctic jackets with the fur-lined hood.
Oh, yeah.
And he didn't have that because his fur-lined hood was his face and hair.
Yeah, he didn't need the fur line. His
There
face
were also a couple of times in this movie where I was like, there's no fucking way somebody could go out in Antarctica wearing that outfit. Your Greenland is showing, sir. Your fucking British Columbia is showing. A person can walk outside in the outfits that Kurt Russell was wearing, which were minimal and svelte and definitely made to look hot, which they did. But I've seen, I've watched TikToks of people that actually reside in scientific capacities in Antarctica. They don't go outside in anything less than 3 feet of clothing.
Oh, well, of course, yeah. They weren't wearing the proper attire for being in Antarctica.
No. Which did take me out of the movie just a tiny bit. I was like, suspension of disbelief. Aliens in Antarctica? Sure. Kurt Russell wearing that jacket in Antarctica? Absolutely not. That was filmed elsewhere.
What about that cowboy hat?
That is the worst thing. That is an atrocity upon...
I feel like that's somehow his favorite hat, his character, McCready.
Where the fuck did that
He's
hat
just
come from?
I love this hat.
He put it on and I was like, how do you fly in that
Yeah,
thing?
he wears it. He
It's
puts
not
it
even
on.
a cowboy hat. It's like a fucking crocodile
But he puts it
Dundee
on
hat.
when he's flying the helicopter.
Yeah.
But only when he's flying the helicopter.
What the fuck was that thing? It made
how does that
no
help
sense.
you fly the helicopter?
That doesn't at all.
It doesn't provide
It
any
doesn't
kind
keep you
of
warm.
warmth.
It doesn't keep the glare
sunlight.
off your eyes.
Yeah, it doesn't block the sunlight because
The fuck was that hat that is
It's
the
up in the front instead of blocking the sun.
That is the stupidest fucking thing. That
so
almost
dumb.
might deduct this movie like half a star for me. That hat,
No!
I even wrote down. I was like, why would you fly in that ridiculous hat?
Don't deduct a whole star over that.
A half star.
No, not even half star.
But like, it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
Obviously, you know, when you're set in another thing I loved
But
about
he looks.
this movie,
But
actually,
hold on. But he looks so cool.
he doesn't look cool at all.
No,
in
he
it.
pulls everything off.
He does
He pulls
not.
the mullet off.
No,
He pulls the
it's not a
sunglasses off.
mullet.
He
It's
pulls
a
the hat off.
feathered hair.
He pulls everything off. He
Do I
is.
need to pull up what a mullet looks
He is
like
so.
for you,
No, I know
sir?
what a mullet
No,
looks
you
like.
don't. Movie Mingle brought to you by It's Not a Fucking Mullet.
There's a lot of visual things happening on this podcast.
It really is. I really enjoyed the scene where a bunch of different actors are outside in the snow and they're all wearing goggles to protect themselves from the snow.
Right.
And so they could only really act with like their mouths. And I was like, this is convincing because all of these actors are acting the shit out of their mouths right now.
Acting the shit out of their mouths.
At a certain point, this movie
Yeah,
takes
when
place
your
in
mouth-
Antarctica and you have to be covered head to toe.
When your mouth is the only thing that the audience can see,
Yeah.
you gotta really act the fuck out of it with your mouth.
And I have to...
Give me all the mouth
all
stuff.
that mouth acting. In Antarctica, if there's nobody else, you'd take a handy from any of them.
Sure. In Antarctica, there's nobody else.
There's nobody fucking else. You'd take a Wilford Brimley handy. I would not take a Wilford Brimley handy. I don't think anybody would.
I don't think I want a handy from Wilford Brimley. I don't know where that came from, but
We have definitely been drinking while podcasting.
I think I'm going to pass on
Don't
the
fucking
Wilford
drink
Brimley
it.
hand job.
And that, friends, is why you listen to Movie Mingle.
That's what differentiates us from the rest of the podcasts out there.
Oh, you can
Hand
get
jobs.
the thing on a 4K. Although it makes me wonder how a 4K restoration of an 80s movie looks.
I
Like
would be
movies
interested.
that are filmed for 4K, like
Yeah.
modern movies, it makes sense.
Makes
but
sense.
then a movie that is retrofitted to be 4K,
Sometimes it at
It
least
seems like it's
clears
gonna
up
be
all the background noise, all
really? Like the graininess?
all the graininess. But at the same time, the graininess is sometimes what I love about older
There's
films.
something about watching older
Especially-
movies with that graininess that
Yeah,
makes it
especially
feel...
anything made before the 90s
Yeah.
really has that special look to it.
And to be fair, we did watch this on a brand new 4K television. Ooh. Maybe one day this podcast will be special enough
This
that
was-
we can fucking write off
even
our
though the
4K
version-
television as a tax credit. But you know, we watching this movie on that giant TV, I didn't kind of clock the oldness of the film quality, like any graininess, any static.
Well, it was from Amazon.
Yeah, and it's not nearly as bad as like
and it was
watching
probably presented
that
in
Spider-Man
at
show
least
right now.
it was probably presented in 1080.
Mm-hmm.
Since most streaming services do not stream in 4K.
No.
Um,
Supposedly Disney Plus does, but I don't believe it.
I don't
yet.
believe it.
No, because that I love that new Spider-Man show, Spider-Man, Your Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. It's a great show. It's a lot of fun. But watching it on our big television, and like there are blues in it. Like whenever there's a blue color, it's really staticky, like distracting staticky. And there's a lot of blue in that.
Also,
I don't know. It's
just
kinda
because a
weird.
streaming service says they stream in 4K doesn't mean your internet provider is sending it to you in 4K.
Yeah, that's also true.
Which is why true 4K
Yeah.
only comes from your 4K Blu-ray.
Which, when we watched Frozen 2, the 4K
that was
Blu-ray the other day,
beautiful.
it was so fucking pretty.
So pretty.
The costumes. The
Costumes.
costumes in that. I mean,
The
I
details,
could talk
the
at length.
threads, the
I could talk
buttons,
at length
the
about why Frozen 2 is the better
the
film than
water
Frozen 1
effects,
across the board.
fire effects.
But the way that movie looked on our television
No.
made me cry, on top of the fact that movie just makes
I
me
cried
cry.
after I watched 1917
I bet
on
it
my
was-
own birthday
I bet it was beautiful,
because
dude.
it was so beautiful.
And I don't think I'll ever watch that movie again because it took everything out of me. But Jesus Christ, I bet it was beautiful.
There's
Just the
some other-
scene alone when he's like running through the nighttime and then the lights are being shot up.
Oh yeah. Plus,
I
I had
bet
my
that's gorgeous.
during that scene. I had my LEDs that I
Mm-hmm.
just installed that you got me for Christmas a couple years ago.
Yeah, They only sat in their box for a year and a
Yeah,
half.
yeah, a year and a half,
They
2
were
years,
waiting.
something like that.
Look, they were waiting.
It was fun when I was watching 1917
Yeah.
to have like an orange background
Yeah.
reflect off the wall behind the TV as that scene was unfolding with the
beautiful.
flares and the
Yeah.
buildings that are on fire.
So that
It was
I
absolutely
don't
beautiful.
ever want to watch 1917 again for the same reason that I never actually wanted to watch Interstellar more than once, was that movie left me so emotionally devastated that I was just like, I don't think I can handle this anymore.
You did
Like,
say on an earlier podcast that we need to buy Interstellar on 4K.
we fucking need to buy Interstellar on 4K.
Because I was looking at
Like, not right now, but
I was looking at the
someday.
movies that we have on 4K.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what movie is over there that Maggie would like to watch?
Interstellar.
Because we already watched Frozen 2.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of stuff
No,
over there that...
Deadpool and Wolverine, but I don't really feel like what 4K could make a difference for that movie.
I mean,
'Cause
I did...
It's not necessary. That movie is not about how it looks.
When
It's
it
just
showed
about
up,
movie
when
is
it
that
showed
movie.
up, I put it in to the player. And
Yeah, how's it look?
It's beautiful.
Yeah,
it's
fucking,
great.
it's great.
And of
But
course,
like,
it's a 4K
I don't.
movie.
I'm not watching it for the 4K of it. I'm watching it for the fucking Deadpool and Wolverine of it. So obviously the gore in the thing is
So good.
so good.
I love it.
I I sent a picture, and I might need to send you the picture so that you could put it on our the promotional stuff for this episode. But I sent a picture to my boss of me watching the thing, and I have gotten my sweater up over my nose to my glasses, my hand covering the whole thing, and my eyes are horrified. And I wrote, I
Wait.
just watched the thing for the first time, and oh my god.
Do you remember which scene that's happening?
That was the scene. I think it wasn't when the dog turned. I think it's when one of the people turns into the thing. I don't think it was the arm bitey off scene. I think it was before that.
Right.
And she replied, "Isn't that great?" And I was like, "It's so good." And she was like, "I'm excited to hear your take on it." And then we started talking about other stuff. I sent a picture to my boss of me just like full on, just horror-fucking-fied. Look, I could not handle the gore of this movie. It was too much for me.
It's so goopy.
It's so fucking goopy.
Oh, I love it. It's so goopy and juicy.
And like, I think for me, like, because it takes a while to build up to the gore. The gore is not immediate, right? Like, there is a certain point during when Kurt Russell and that other dude go visit the Norwegian camp, you see a little bit of gore. But when that dog like opens its mouth and then the thing comes out of it, and you're just like, oh god, oh god, oh god, like. It's
with the little whippy,
it's visceral.
the noise it makes, and
And
the dogs that are like the scene that
those
really gets me.
poor
I know
puppies.
the scene that really gets me though is that scene where the dog starts turning,
Yeah.
and starts spraying goop on the other
Oh,
dogs,
that poor dog.
and then like grabs them. The effects, the makeup,
Yeah.
the things that they were able to do
the
to
things
make
they did with the thing.
to make a fake dog.
Yeah.
It's just
And like
everything, any effect that I think of in this movie, it's just so
for
creative, and the like you'd have to watch. There's some great videos out there of behind the scenes
Mm-hmm.
moments, or people explaining what they did, not just how they created the thing opening title sequence,
Mm-hmm.
but that whole scene with the guy who gets his arms bitten off, and the head pulling away.
I know pulling with
pulling away from the body.
tendrils and then like
How
jumping
they
down
how they
and
achieve that
scuttering
effect
away.
of it just tearing away, and then the legs growing out of the head, and then like just like a spider, just like
it's
or
sort
a
of,
crab, just like crawling away.
it's kind of funny too. You can't Google the thing and look at the images without it being half of the thing from the Fantastic Four.
Oh,
like it's half Kurt Russell, half Ben Grimm, and I'm here for that. For me, the scene. Okay, the scene where they're testing the blood is a masterclass in suspense. And I cannot believe I just said those fucking words. Like, oh, if you're rolling your eyes at me, then great, I'm rolling my eyes too. But that moment where they're testing the goddamn blood is so suspenseful. It is so... You have no idea.
The amount of times I've watched this...
No.
The amount of times I've watched this movie, and I always forget which guy in that moment is the thing.
The thing. And by the way, we didn't really even talk about Palmer. His name is David Clennon, and he's a great character actor. I've seen him in 1,000 things. Specifically, what do I know? I mean, he was in The Right Stuff, but everybody was in The Right Stuff.
Gone Girl.
He's Just Shoot Me, fucking... Like, I know this man as a character actor. And I was like, oh, hey, it's him. But, like, watching him squirm in his seat, waiting for the blood test, because he kind of knows. Also, that's the other thing. Okay, so, if the thing takes you over, right, and mimics you completely, you forget, up until a point, you forget that you're the thing.
I think you don't know you're the thing until it starts having to transform and show its real...
Yes.
Because it's in you, or it is you, and it's
but here's my
dormant.
This is something that I thought of. There are two things I want to bring up about the thing. One, Wilford Brimley was like, how long is it going to take for diabetes to take over the entire world? And it was like 27,000 hours or something like that, right? I think it was like 27,000 hours to take over the entire
diabetes?
World. Yes, the diabetes. That's what the thing is. Yeah.
Thing is diabetes. Okay.
But if the thing took over the entire planet, and we all forgot that we were the thing, and we just kept going about our lives, then what happens? Can we still procreate and create new tiny things? Are we already the thing, and our children are also the thing, and so is our cat? Our cat is definitely the thing. So, like, at what point is it like, well, what's the real problem here? Like, yes, it replaces humanity, but then humanity continues on not knowing that it's an alien creature, right? So really, where's the harm in that? Secondly, when they were like, we don't know who the thing is, and so what we're going to do is we're all going to go to our separate quarters by ourselves, that's not the way to do it. What you do is every person is constantly watched by two other people. And I drew a diagram that I'm about to show you. That is, right, if you're in the room with a thing, a victim, and yourself, the thing can never become somebody else because you're always watching what's going on. And then there are shifts, right? Okay, you're the thing, I'm your victim, and Oscar Isaac is the third person. We're just going to go with that, right? And there's always the three of us in the room at all times, always. Which means that there is never a point where you and I are alone so that you can turn me also into a thing. And there's never a point where myself and Oscar Isaac are alone, unfortunately, in which, because he doesn't know who the thing is. We're always all three of us together at all times. And nobody is ever outside of each other's visage, which means the thing can never turn into somebody else. And then, when I get tired, in comes Matt Murdock, and now he's the victim. And then Oscar Isaac gets tired, so here comes Sebastian Stan, so he's keeping an eye on it, and you're still the thing, but you get tired, so you go to bed, and you're replaced by, I don't know, Viggo Mortensen. And then, so it's like, as long as there's always three people in the room at any given time, the thing cannot latch on to somebody else, because as soon as it does, you fucking light him on fire and kill his ass. So there needs to be 3 men at all times to keep the thing from spreading.
Yeah.
And that is my ultimate takedown of the thing.
Also, I think it becomes the thing when it goes up your butt. I think there was something said about it.
There is nothing that I don't remember anything about anal in this movie.
How does it reproduce? What does it do?
It's not up
the
butt.
Is it just touching your hand and it can reproduce you?
It latches onto you in turn.
It goes up your butt. I think it goes up your butt.
You know what? My last 1, 2, 3, 4 notes on this movie are just all "oh my god" in various like fonts and sizes. And all I can say to that is just, oh my god.
I didn't write a lot of notes because every time I watch this movie, I'm just so Like, I just want to watch it.
I only took like a page and a half of notes because I was too engrossed. And a lot of my notes were just, oh my god, this movie is so fucking good, stop, oh my god. But I just bring it back to, at a certain point, I feel like as long as there are always 3 people in a room, the thing cannot take over another person. It could possibly try to take over 2 people at once, but as long as somebody has a gun and a flamethrower, dead.
You know, before Kurt Russell, did you know that Christopher Walken, Jeff Bridges,
Ooh.
Nick Nolte, and Sam Shepard were
Asked to be a part of it.
But because of unavailability, or they declined.
Yeah, I think a lot of people were like, I'm not going to make a fucking B movie. Like, no, this is beyond me.
Yeah, I think Kurt Russell was the best choice. Even though I think Nick Nolte probably could have done a really good job. I think
young
Jeff.
Nick Nolte, yeah.
Oh, of course, it wasn't a young Nick Nolte. A young Jeff Bridges.
Yeah.
You know, an 82
Fucking
Jeff Bridges.
is so hot.
Because he also has mullets.
It's not a mullet. It's not. It's a... Can we talk about the ending of this movie? About whether or not Kurt Russell or Keith David at any given point are a thing?
Ooh, Brian Dennehy, Chris Christopherson,
I'm
John
Brian
Hurd,
Dennehy.
Ed Harris, and Tom Berenger, Scott Glenn, Fred Ward, Peter. Wow, they talked to
Glenn.
a lot of people.
Yeah, they talked to every actor that was available at the time. I mean, I always find it funny when they're like, oh, this movie was offered to so-and-so. It's like, yeah, because they were a living, breathing actor, and they wanted somebody to take the role.
Ernie Hudson was almost the Keith David character.
Ernie Hudson's so hot. Ernie Hudson. Winston Zeddemore. Even as a child, I was like, I always wanted more of Winston in Ghostbusters and Ghostbusters 2. But I'm glad he was there at least, because goddamn, what a handsome man.
The mechanic Palmer, played
By David Clennon.
yeah. Since that character's kind of got some comedic moments, Universal brought in people like Jay Leno and Gary Shandling.
Yeah, oh my god, him thing.
Oh my god, it's a thing.
Yeah,
Get away from the thing.
Hey guys, have you heard about this?
Have you heard about the thing lately?
Oh my god, the thing.
Check this news story about the thing.
I do know that Thomas Waits, who played Windows, his character had a different name up until like rehearsals for this movie, when he rolled up with sunglasses on and was like, this is my character, this is who I am, man. And John Carpenter's like, fuck it, I don't have the energy to fight this, fine. And the rest of the cast went, wait, what? And then they just went on.
Yeah.
Do you think at the end of this movie the thing was destroyed, or do you think it was either Kurt Russell or Keith David?
Well, I mean, I have a feeling that they killed it, and the two of them just
Sacrificed
themselves to make sure that it did not get further than...
Well, one thing that I love is that James Cameron has, since this movie came out...
Wait, there's something you love that James Cameron did?
Fuck you, shut up. Wait, James Cameron? No, who are we talking about?
I don't know.
Not James Cameron.
You said
John
James
Carpenter.
Cameron. John Carpenter, okay. I was like, wait a minute, you like something James Cameron did?
No. John Carpenter, since this movie come out, has been like, when somebody asks them, oh, was Childs or McCready a thing? And he's like, yes. Like, since this movie has come out, he's never given a definitive answer as to the end. He has kept it ambiguous the entire time.
Good.
Which is just him fucking with people, and I love that.
Great. Me too.
Live for that. Secondly, according to the prequel, which apparently is canon, the thing cannot replicate jewelry or anything non-artificial in a human body. So since Childs has his earring in his ear at the end of the movie, he is not a thing.
Is there anything that Russell Crowe?
Kurt Russell.
Is there anything?
I get it. The Russells. I get it.
Is there anything that Kurt Russell has?
No.
To show that he might?
But Kurt Russell is apparently as what is considered canon in the video game for the thing.
Oh.
He survives.
Gotcha.
And goes on to live his life, but I don't believe he is ever a thing either. I personally, not taking the prequel or the video game into account at all, how I viewed it is that the thing was either destroyed or put back into dormancy in the Antarctic, and Childs and McCready sacrificed themselves to keep it hidden.
Sure.
Although, at a certain point, more people are going to come to
More
that
people,
station.
yeah.
But
A long enough timeline, somebody's going to find that again,
but
unbury it.
Doesn't necessarily mean that the thing is
The
unburied
Earth
ever again.
is going to warm up.
Well,
and
yeah, global warming might bring the thing
melt.
back.
Yeah, it'll melt.
Yeah.
The spaceship will be
If
ready to fly in no
if
time.
the thing was to have a sequel at all, I would absolutely believe that it's because of global warming. Because it's real, and it's fucking with us, guys.
And there really are instances where scientists are discovering
Parasites,
viruses, microbes, being frozen in ice, and then because of warm temperatures, they are new diseases that haven't been around since pre-man.
Yeah.
Are now.
Which fucking great. The Thing is a great movie, Caveman, and I'm sorry that it took me so long kicking and screaming and literally claw marks into the floor as you pulled my ass into the living room watching this. I'm sorry it took so long. You are right. This movie's amazing.
I'm glad you loved it.
And thank you for sharing it with me.
Of course. I personally give this movie 5 stars.
Oh, we're just jumping right into it. Okay.
We're jumping right into it.
Great.
So, Maggie, what do you give?
Well, why do you give this movie 5 stars, honey?
Let's take into the fact that it was from 1982. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember the movie. Raiders of the Lost Ark came out before this movie, and it won Best Special Effects.
I mean, yeah.
And then there was this film, and then the year after this film was Return of the Jedi, and Return of the Jedi won Special Effects. Mm-hmm. So you have Raiders of the Lost Ark and Return of the Jedi kind of showing you during the time what special effects kind of looked like. Mm-hmm. And there was some great special effects in both films.
Yes, and those are like computer-generated special effects, or computer-helped special effects.
Yeah, Return of the Jedi had some actual, especially that end scene with their faces melting was all wax and time.
You mean Raiders, not Jedi.
Whatever.
Yeah. And
they're all made by the same
people. We all know
people.
what we're talking about here, folks. At this point, fucking 70 or so episodes into this podcast, you know what we're talking about.
70?
Well, if you count all the bonus episodes,
I don't know we're 70, though.
No, I looked the other day, and we were at 69 before we recorded. So...
Well, when it comes to The Thing's special effects, I think for 1982, those special effects have shown to be superior and still and they've aged
remarkable.
They've aged well.
Yeah.
Sure, there are some things where you're just obviously that is
a puppet
goop
or whatever. But it doesn't matter
makeup.
because it sells it.
They sell it. The cast sells it.
Watching the orcs or the Orcai in Lord of the Rings, I know that those are fucking makeup pieces, but it sells it better than anything The Hobbit did.
Yes.
And so, yeah, you look at something and you're like, that's a man in a mask, but a man in a mask can be more terrifying than a computer-generated character that looks computer-generated.
It's a fun movie. Mm-hmm. It's directed well. John Carpenter, like I said, my favorite John Carpenter film. The special effects are top tier, game changers.
Yeah.
You watch some of the sci-fi movies that came out, other than Star Wars, because Star Wars was kind of its own thing in its own corner of sci-fi.
Yeah.
This was, sci-fi horror, which when you watch sci-fi horror or just any sci-fi that came out after Star Wars or movies like this, they definitely start upping their game because now they
borrowing from it.
Yeah, a lot of movies do borrow from it.
Yeah.
And from beginning to end, it's captivating. It's fun to watch. It is, in my opinion, a 5-star film.
Great. I would give it 4 stars. For the sake that... Don't you flip me off, sir. I've got a couple reasons behind it. One, it is a horror film. And... I know, I was about to say Homie Don't Play That, but in reality, homie has been playing.
You've been playing that
I've
game
been playing
and
that
liking
game for a
it.
while now. I know, and I'm so fucking angry at you. And maybe that's why it gets 4 stars. Because I didn't want to watch this fucking movie. I didn't want to understand why it was so good. I didn't care. This movie could have come and gone from my existence, and I never would have known that it's amazing, and I never cared. But because of you and my love for you and our pure, undriven, meant to be soulmate fucking relationship, made me sit back and think, well, maybe I should give this movie a chance. And my boss, who I adore, being like, this movie is one of my favorite movies. And I respect her enough to make me sit back and go, wait a minute, I want to know why. Like, there's 1,000 reasons why I didn't want to fucking see this movie, but everything was telling me to see it. And then I watched it, and it wasn't like halfway through I was into it. 5 fucking minutes into this film, I was like, this is one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. I have friends that love this movie that I now have to be like, message on Instagram and be like, psych, I love this film. And that's annoying to me. And so that docks that a point. Because, like, how dare you make me watch a movie I loved this much when I never cared? Ugh, I'm angry about it. And, like, yeah, like, I reserve 5 stars for movies that I am devastatingly affected by. And this movie was not one of them, per se. But it's still a great film. It's a worthy watch. If you've listened to this entire podcast and you haven't seen it, Jesse, fucking sit down and give less than 2 hours of your life over to The Thing. You will be shocked at how good it is. Because it's good. And that's coming from me. It's coming from me who did not care and did not want to watch this film. And this movie is solid. I'm giving it 4 stars. Thank you for introducing me to it. I really appreciate it. Will I ever watch it again? Hard to say, but thank you, honey. I love you.
Now on to 2001 Space Odyssey.
No!
So, Maggie.
Yes, Caveman.
I have 2 questions for you.
Hit it!
Abby, I'm waiting for the right moment, because when I ask you out, there's not going to be any turning back for me. I'm not going to date anybody else for the rest of my life. I'm not going to love anybody else for the rest of my life. I'm not going to really care about anything else for the rest of my life.
Oh, that's like you when we started dating. Because you're stuck with me, because we're stupid soulmates.
So stuck.
Was that from that one movie he did with fucking what's her face, where she's pregnant and then she dies and then he's sad and then he kills himself, and then it's just like it was by the same guy.
Man, if that's the plot, holy shit.
It's from the same guy who did the This Is Us series, and I'm pretty sure he's an alien that survives off of our human tears, which is why every fucking thing he makes is emotional manipulation.
This movie is that?
What movie is it?
This is called Life Itself.
Yes!
Wait. What's the whole the whole?
I have not seen this movie.
He's an alien?
Nope.
Oh.
I have not seen this movie, but what it's about is it's about like, okay, so it's done by the same guy who did the series This Is Us.
Yeah, Dan Fogelman.
Yes, which is just every single episode is like, I'm going to make you cry. Because I'm pretty sure Dan Fogelman is an alien that subsists off of human tears.
He is. Okay.
And so every single thing that he makes...
He did write Cars and Tangled.
Every single fucking thing he makes reaches into your heart, twists it, pulls it out, and makes you cry. And that's how he survives the eons, right? He's always just there to make you fucking cry. And I'm pretty sure he's an alien. In the movie, Life Itself, Oscar Isaac is like desperately in love with Olivia Munn? Is that her name?
No. The one from Tron.
Fucking...
Olivia Wilde.
Olivia Wilde, thank you. He's in love with Olivia Wilde. She gets pregnant. They live a good life together, but then while she's pregnant, she gets like fucking hit by a car or a bus or something, and she dies, but the baby survives? But he can't handle the fact that his wife dies, and then he like is in therapy for his dead wife, but then shoots himself in front of his therapist? Or some fucking nonsense like that. And then, like, the kid goes on to, like, live a life and be important for some fucking reason. I don't know. It's a movie that's made to make you cry. It's emotional manipulation, which is why I will not watch it.
I'm sorry,
that's
but
what that movie is.
This is the same guy who's responsible for Fred Claus in Cars 2, so...
Yeah, but how many times have you cried at Tangled, sir?
Tangled's different.
Every fucking time you watch it. And that's how he gets you. He takes our tears, he turns it into energy, and he uses it to survive forever.
Oh, shit. He wrote Crazy Stupid Love.
Yeah!
Okay.
This
Fuck
fucker
him.
is meant to make us cry.
I love Crazy Stupid Love.
I know, it's such... I would watch
Such a
it
good movie.
right now.
Everybody, stop what you're doing. Stop this podcast. Go watch Crazy Stupid Love with Steve Carell and Ryan Gosling.
Ryan Gosling is so
Julianne
perfect
Moore
in
and
that movie.
Emma Stone.
It's so
good.
When he starts giggling at the fight in the backyard,
Yeah.
oh my god. But yeah, no, that's I've not seen Life Itself because I'm just like this. I don't want to watch a sad Oscar Isaac, which is also why I haven't watched that movie or that series that he was in with Jessica Chastain. For the fact that I love him, I sure haven't seen a lot of his shit.
Yeah. You're like, I don't want to cry
So I'm just
today.
like, no, I don't want to cry today. I cry enough. If you know me, or if you've listened to this podcast once, you know I cry too easily. And sometimes I just don't need to cry. And considering that my life has been nothing but 24/7 the repair shop lately, I've been crying like a motherfucker. And I just don't need that. So, anyway,
long story short, would the presence of Oscar Isaac have made The Thing a better movie?
That's a tough one because do I take Oscar Isaac and retroactively put him into The Thing? You know, like a mid-30s something Oscar Isaac back into the 80s and make it The Thing? Yes, I would have enjoyed it slightly more if Oscar Isaac had been in it.
Would it have been a 5-star film if Oscar Isaac was in it?
No, it probably would have been a 4.5.
All right. Well, at least it still gets it up to a 0.5.
At least he's at least a half a star of enjoyment.
So-
because as hot as Wilford Brimley,
Jesus.
Kurt Russell, and fucking Keith David. Absolutely not. Wilford Brimley is not hot in this movie, but as hot as Kurt Russell and Keith David are in this film, having Oscar Isaac there to add to that hotness, yes, would have bumped it up at least half a star. God, I love that you're so secure in our relationship that you're willing to ask me these questions and deal with the answers.
It's all so ridiculous.
So fucking stupid. I love you so much. Thank
So
you for
second
being
question,
my Oscar
Maggie.
Isaac. Yeah, what?
Which character would you have had Oscar Isaac play?
Oh, God, that's a tough one. Not Kurt Russell. Not Keith David. Not Nails. 'Cause Nails is fucking hot.
Knowles.
Maybe Palmer or Clark. You know, maybe.
Sure.
Maybe he could have been one of those roles. I kind of don't remember the name of the rest of the character. Like, he could have been the Doctor. You
Could have
know,
been the Doctor.
he could have been like a younger version of the Doctor.
See his arms
Get cut off. Yeah.
bit off.
I mean, that would have been enjoyable.
Or even better, he plays the character where his head, like,
Splits open.
splits away from its body.
You just want to watch that because you like to watch Oscar Isaac in agony because you know how much I love him.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
But, again, I would like to point this out to you. I do not love Oscar Isaac more than I love you.
You say that.
I mean that.
Okay.
And even though I do consider him the most beautiful person on this planet, you're still the one that I love.
Yeah, because I'm definitely not the most beautiful person on the planet.
No, but... And this has been This month's last bonus episode of Movie Mingle on the Thing, and we hope that you enjoyed it as much as we enjoyed bringing it to you. I'm laughing because Caveman's being a turd right now, but God damn it, I love him so much. Thank you, as ever, for listening to our silly little podcast. We are actively approaching 1 year of Movie Mingle, and we're very proud of everything that we have done up to this point. And I'm just glad that even if we've had such a small listener base up to this point, I'm glad that we've had something. So thank you so much for being a part of this journey. Please feel free to rate and review us 5 stars or whatever you feel we deserve on your podcast platform of choice. And tell your friends about us, because even though it's a tiny little podcast that's kind of closer to the end than it is to the beginning, at the very least, we would love for people to be able to listen, be able to find the movies that they enjoy, and even listen to the movies that they don't really pay attention to, but still listen to a couple of dorks who love each other deeply talk about them. Next week, for our regularly scheduled program, we will be doing the movie Baby Driver, which will be interesting considering what the cast has become. And look forward to that on Wednesday when it drops. You can always reach us on Instagram, Threads, and Letterboxd at MovieMinglePod. You can find us on YouTube at MovieMinglePodcast, and you can write us at movieminglepod@gmail.com. And honestly, guys, come on, write us some more. It's good times over there. Until next time, please take care of yourselves. Please look out for any ancient aliens hiding in some ice. And just remember, if you need to make sure that somebody's an alien, a hot piece of copper and blood will always do. But until then, go mingle. Bye!
Are you an effective team?
We are an effective team.
Let them fight.
How did you just do that?
I'm a really good lawyer.
Here on Caladan, we've ruled by air power and sea power. On Arrakis, we need to cultivate desert power.
Welcome, Mr. Beach. What's that bar? I'm a little confused.
Well, we wouldn't want that, would we?
I don't want to brag, but I will. I was in the Avengers.
The Avengers?
Yeah.
That's great.
Thank you.
What is that?
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
Toga, 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 toga.